There is a moment, a sacred instant, when you abandon all effort and something wondrous begins to unfold. That moment is not in the future, nor was it in the past. It is now. And in that now, in the great silence between your thoughts, the truth is revealed. You already have what you seek. You simply must relax into the feeling of it. Do not strive. Do not chase. Do not beg the world for what already exists within you. The world is only a mirror, a reflection of your inner state, and the law is always working. Whether you know it or not, whether you apply it or not, the law never sleeps. It is always creating the world you assume to be real. So the invitation is not to strive for change, but to relax into the assumption that what you desire is already yours. You see, imagining creates reality. That is not mere poetic fancy. It is the secret of the ages. The world that you call real is but the echo of your inner conversation, your inner vision, and your inner feeling. When you dwell in the state of the wish fulfilled, you are impressing upon the subconscious mind the only thing it ever obeys, your feeling of being, not the words you say, but the state you occupy, not the facts you face, but the truth you assume. So relax into it. Take your attention away from appearances. Take your attention away from the senses, for they will always mislead you if you allow them to dominate your inner world. It is not what your eyes see, but what your heart knows that brings your desires to you. And your heart knows, deeply and instinctively, what your mind often doubts, that you are the operant power. The Father and you are one, and your imagination is the Christ in you. When you accept this union, when you yield completely to the reality of imagination, you begin to walk by faith and not by sight. You begin to feel the richness of a life already lived. You taste the joy before the harvest has even ripened, and that joy itself becomes the cause of its arrival. Now, when I say relax, I do not mean apathy. I do not mean that you cease to desire or that you detach from life. No, I mean that you let go of effort, the kind of effort that comes from doubt. You let go of striving. You stop fighting with reality, and you begin to rest in the assumption that your imagination is more real than the so-called facts. When a man imagines himself to be what he desires to be, and he persists in that assumption, he becomes it. That is the law. That is the truth. But the secret lies in the feeling. You must feel the naturalness of your desire already realized. You must feel it in your bones, in your breath, in your silence. When you lie down at night, do not dwell on what is missing. Dwell instead on what already is, and do not worry how it will come to pass. The how is not your business. The how belongs to the law, to the infinite intelligence that governs all things. Your only task is to assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled, to relax so deeply into it that the assumption becomes your dwelling place. Then all things come to you, and you need not lift a finger. Let me remind you that the secret of imagining is to enter the feeling of the end, not to wish it, not to hope for it, not to pray that it might happen one day, but to live as though it has already happened. That is true prayer. That is communion with God. That is creation. You are not separate from the Creator. The Creator is within you, dreaming the world into existence through you. And when you imagine, you are engaging in the act of creation. When you feel it real, you are speaking the word. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. That word is your inner speech. That word is your assumption. That word is your feeling of being. So speak wisely, feel wisely, imagine wisely, and above all do so in peace. Do not be anxious. Anxiety is faith turned backward. Anxiety is believing more in absence than in presence, more in delay than in immediacy. You must therefore reverse the current. You must relax into certainty, into peace, into trust. Let the waters be still, and the image will become clear. Let your mind rest in the assumption that what you have imagined is already moving toward you, or rather that it already exists, and you are simply moving toward its unfolding in time. In truth, creation is finished. Nothing is being created. Everything already is, and your imagination selects which parts of the infinite you shall experience. You are not here to fix reality. You are here to choose your experience of it. You are not here to force things. You are here to align with the invisible pattern that already contains your desire. You are here to relax into the vision and to let the outer world rearrange itself accordingly. Now I tell you, many miss this truth, because they think imagining is daydreaming. It is not. Imagining is the act of faith. It is the divine art of creation. When you imagine lovingly, when you persist in the feeling of the wish fulfilled, you move mountains. You transform your world, not through toil, but through inner conviction. Your feeling is the secret. Your feeling is the prayer. Your feeling is the signal you send to the universe, and the response you receive will always match it. So if you feel lack, you receive lack. If you feel abundance, you receive abundance. Not someday, now, in this moment, you are broadcasting your reality. So choose wisely. Close your eyes and enter the scene of your desire. See it, hear it, but more than anything, feel it. How does it feel to be the one you wish to be? How does it feel to already possess what your heart longs for? Rest in that feeling, make it your home, and then walk through the world as though nothing has changed, yet knowing within you that everything has. That is the attitude of the mystic. That is the walk of the enlightened. He does not need proof. His knowing is his proof. His inner state is the seed, and he knows the harvest is inevitable. You see, most people live in reaction. They wait for the world to change before they feel better. But the wise one knows the secret. Change your feeling, and the world must follow. Change your assumption, and your outer experience cannot help but reflect it. So again I say to you, relax. Stop striving. Stop begging. You are not here to earn your desires. You are here to align with them. You are here to accept what has already been given. Every desire you have is already fulfilled in another dimension. You simply must feel your way into it. And you do not need to do this all day. One moment of deep feeling, of true inner acceptance, is more powerful than 1,000 forced affirmations. When you surrender into the feeling of the wish fulfilled, when you relax into the knowing that you already are, already have, already live the life you imagined, then everything must come to you. You do not need the world's permission to have what you desire. The only permission you ever needed was your own. And once you permit yourself to assume the state of your wish fulfilled, the universe conspires to make it real. Sleep in that state. Breathe in that state. Breathe in that state. Rest in it so deeply that the world must bend to match it. And it will. It always does. The law never fails. Do not be impatient. Do not uproot the seed by doubting. Do not ask where is it, for that is the language of lack. Instead say silently within yourself, it is done. Say it not as a wish, but as a declaration. Feel the completion. Feel the joy. Feel the peace. And then let go. Let it unfold as it will. It may come through channels you never expected, in ways you never imagined, but it will come. Your only task is to remain in the feeling, to dwell in the end, to relax into the truth that what you imagined is already yours. And so tonight and every night, before you close your eyes, ask yourself not with anxiety but with peace, what do I truly desire? And once you find it, enter into the feeling of it already fulfilled. Let it wash over you, like warm sunlight. Let it become your reality. Then sleep. Sleep in the assumption that all is well, that you are safe, that you are loved, that you are abundant, that you are already living the life you once only imagined. This is the truth that sets you free. This is the secret taught by prophets, sages, mystics, and dreamers. This is the truth you have always known deep within. You are the operant power. Nothing comes from outside you. Everything begins within. The world is your mirror, and imagination is the brush with which you paint your destiny. So paint wisely, paint boldly, but above all paint peacefully. Paint in joy, paint in faith, and then relax into your masterpiece. It is already done, and so it is. When you rise in the morning, do not return to the old man, the one who doubts, fears, and seeks proof from the outside world. Instead, carry forward the inner state you cultivated in the silence of night. Let your actions emerge naturally from that assumption. You do not need to force or pretend. You simply allow the feeling to guide you. Your tone, your posture, your breath, each becomes an extension of the reality you have assumed within. You walk not as one seeking, but as one knowing. Do not concern yourself with the timeline. The moment you dwell in impatience, you have stepped out of the state. Time is not your master. Time is the servant of your assumption. All things arrive precisely when they are most harmonious with your belief, and so your only task is to remain faithful. faithful not to the outer world, but to your inner vision. If the world seems to contradict your desire, do not react, do not be disturbed. Instead, return inward. Close your eyes for a moment, and feel again the truth that you are already what you desire to be, that nothing can take from you what is yours in imagination, that everything in the external realm is only the echo, never the cause. Let others be frantic. Let them chase, strive, compete and grasp. But you will know the secret. You will walk softly. You will speak little. And within you will burn with the fire of certainty. Not the arrogance of the ego, but the quiet confidence of the soul that knows it is one with God. You are not waiting for your desire. You are not watching the clock. You are living the state of fulfillment now. And because you live it, because you feel it, the world is compelled by the law to reflect it. The world cannot help itself. It is not punishing or rewarding you. It is obeying you. It must yield to the pattern impressed upon it by your imagination. And that pattern is shaped not by thought alone, but by feeling. That is why I say again and again, relax into the feeling, not the idea of your wish, but the reality of it already being so. There is no need to visualize perfectly. You need not construct every detail. It is not the picture that creates the result. It is the emotional reality behind the picture. If you cannot see it clearly, then simply feel it clearly. Feel it as though it were happening now. Do not question it. Do not explain it. Do not explain it. Do not even attempt to justify your desire. Just feel it. You do not owe the world an explanation for your dreams. You are not here to justify your existence. You are here to express the fullness of your being through imagination. Your desires are divine. They are the whispers of God calling you toward greater realization, and they are already fulfilled in the infinite. So stop waiting. Stop hesitating. Stop doubting. The kingdom is within you. All that you seek is already alive in your imagination. And when you claim it as real, when you assume it as already yours, it must appear. Not because you are lucky, not because the world decided to be kind, but because you created the condition for it to emerge. You did not fight it into being. You did not struggle or plead. You simply relaxed into the state, and the state did the work. This is the great mystery. This is the sacred act. It is not thunder and lightning. It is stillness and knowing. It is not effort. It is acceptance. And in that acceptance miracles are born. So go now, not to change the world, but to change your feeling of the world. Go not to move mountains by hand, but to move mountains by mind. And when the world sees you, they will say, he is blessed, she is lucky. How did it happen for them? And you will know the truth. It happened because you relaxed into the feeling of it. Because you chose the unseen over the seen, the real over the illusion, the end over the beginning. You are not becoming, you already are. You are not on the way. You have arrived. All you must do is relax into that reality, and the world, obedient as always, will show you what you already know within. And this is the freedom you've been seeking. Freedom does not lie in having more, doing more or proving anything to anyone. True freedom is the release from needing proof, from seeking validation, from chasing something that has always lived within you. When you relax into the feeling of your desire fulfilled, you release the chains of doubt and separation. You become one with your imagined outcome, and that unity draws all things to itself, effortlessly, silently, invisibly. So I urge you to test this for yourself, not someday but today, in the quiet of your room, in the silence behind your eyes. Drop all resistance. Drop the belief that it's hard, that it takes time, that you must be deserving in the eyes of the world. Drop the weight of the facts. They are nothing but shadows. The only light is within. That light is your awareness, your consciousness, your I am. Dare to claim what is yours in that sacred space. Feel the money in your hands, the love in your heart, the health in your body, the peace in your soul, not because it has appeared, but because it already is. Feel it with no effort. Feel it with the gentle certainty that you are only remembering what has always been true. The old you, the one who worried, who waited, who doubted, has no place in this new state. You are not healing or fixing yourself. You are not broken. You are only waking up to what has always been yours. When you live from the end, you are no longer seeking transformation. You are resting in completion. This resting is power. The world tells you to strive, to hustle, to grind. But the truth of spirit is quite the opposite. It whispers, "Be still and know. Be still and know that I am God. Be still and know that your assumption is the key. Be still and know that your inner feeling is the cause of every outer effect." Do not confuse this stillness with laziness. No, this stillness is alive. It is pregnant with purpose. When you relax into the end, your actions become inspired. They arise effortlessly, guided by unseen forces that move through you like wind through trees. You are no longer the doer. You are the vessel. You are moved, drawn, carried, and the journey becomes joy. Even now, as you listen to these words, you can feel the pull. You can feel something inside you loosening. The grip of doubt is releasing. The weight of needing to make it happen is falling away, and in its place arises a gentle knowing. It is already done. Can you feel it? Can you feel the shift in your breath? The quiet smile forming in your heart? The subtle softening in your mind? That is the door opening. That is the bridge beginning to form, and you did not force it. You simply relaxed into the feeling of the end, and the rest followed. You don't have to know what's next. You don't have to plot or plan. The next step will appear, and it will feel like ease. It will feel like alignment. It will feel like the most natural thing in the world, because it is. You're not creating something from nothing. You are aligning with what has always been true of you in imagination. Persist in the feeling. Revisit it often, not with urgency, but with joy. Return to it like you would return to a beautiful garden, a place of rest, a place of nourishment. Do not force the door open. Simply dwell in the house of your fulfilled desire. In time the world will knock and say, "We've brought you exactly what you believed was yours." It is not the world's approval you need. It is your own conviction. And when you no longer seek signs, the signs will follow you. When you no longer beg for confirmation, confirmation will surround you. When you no longer struggle, the path will smooth itself beneath your feet. When the thing arrives, whatever it may be, you will not be surprised, for in truth it will not feel new. It will feel familiar, like something you have always known, because it is. You lived it in imagination. You held it in feeling. You became one with it in silence. The outer appearance is merely the echo of your inner act. This is the art of conscious creation. This is the truth of who you are. You are not a servant to circumstance. You are its master. But mastery does not roar. It whispers. It moves quietly beneath the noise. It does not demand. It assumes. And in your still quiet assumption lies the greatest force the world has ever known. Not the force that pushes or pulls, but the force that becomes. You become what you assume. That is the mystery and the marvel. The more you try to force life, the more you admit you do not have it. But the moment you rest in the feeling that it is already yours, the struggle ends. The resistance disappears. The air becomes lighter, and all things begin to move for you. Even your body responds. Your heartbeat changes. Your breath deepens. Your posture shifts. The temple within you awakens. And it is not because something outside has changed. It is because you have changed. You have changed the vibration of your being. You have tuned yourself to a new reality. And reality, faithful and obedient, must now match you. This is the truth Jesus spoke when he said, "According to your faith be it unto you," not according to your work, nor your worry, but your faith. And faith is nothing but assumption. Faith is relaxing so completely into the unseen, that the seen must bend to meet it. Feel now the relief of knowing it's already done. Can you feel that tension leaving your shoulders? Can you feel the pressure lifting from your chest? That is the power of true assumption. It releases you. It frees you from the lie of effort, from the myth of lack, from the tyranny of waiting. Let the world chase. Let them ask, "But how? But when?" You need not answer. You only smile. Because you know. You know that the moment you felt it real, it was real. And you need no permission, no evidence, no applause. You walk in the quiet dignity of one who already has. You no longer beg for change, for you realize you are the change. And the world will catch up to you. It must. It cannot help itself. It only reflects the state you sustain within. The outer always bends to the inner, never the other way around. So what are you feeling now? What are you assuming now? What are you believing in this very breath? That is your reality. That is your prayer. That is the seed from which all else grows. Relax. Feel the truth of it. Let your whole being dwell in the joy of already having. And you will find in time, but not because of time, that everything you imagined with faith, with certainty, with stillness, is here.
You do not need to rush. You do not need to panic. You only need to return again and again to the inner sanctuary, the sacred space where all is possible. And from there, from that peace, from that knowing, you will live, you will love, you will receive, and you will remember when it all arrives, that it was never about effort, it was never about struggle, it was always about feeling and relaxing fully into the eternal truth that you already are what you seek, you already are what you seek, and there has never been a moment in which that wasn't true. The only shift needed was your awareness, the only key was feeling, the only door was assumption, and once you walked through that door within, the outer world began, subtly and surely, to rearrange itself in alignment with your inner certainty. Even now, as you hear these words, something inside you is waking up, some forgotten part of you that always knew you didn't have to wait, that creation was never outside of you, that your longing was only a call to return to what you already are. The more you return to that feeling, the more often you allow yourself to rest in the end, the faster the shadows dissolve, for the world is made of shadows cast by your inner light. Change the position of that light, and the entire scene transforms. But you must relax to reposition it. You must surrender your old position, your old assumptions, your old identity. You are not the seeker, you are the source. You are not the beggar, you are the king. But this royalty is not loud, it is not boastful, it is quiet, calm, peaceful. It does not panic in lack because it knows there is no lack. It does not rush to fix the world, because it knows the world has no choice but to reflect what it already is within. So take your attention off the outer conditions, leave them be, let them do as they will. Your job is not to repair appearances, it is to persist in the feeling of your fulfilled desire, and the more you do, the more irrelevant appearances become, the more they lose their power to disturb you, and as they lose that power they begin to shift on their own. That is the paradox. The less you need it, the faster it comes, not because you've detached in apathy, but because you've entered such deep union with it in imagination that you no longer question it. It is yours. You live from it, and life cannot help but mirror that truth. You are no longer the person trying to manifest. You are the person who already has, and every thought, every word, every movement flows naturally from that identity. No effort, no strain, just being. And from that being all doing becomes inspired, light, joyful. You are no longer moved by lack, you are moved by love. You are no longer ruled by time, you are guided by eternity. And in that timeless stillness, the forms of this world respond as they always have, obediently, faithfully, perfectly. So close your eyes again, this time not to escape the world, but to return to the source of it. Feel the scene, not with tension, but with calm, not with longing, but with gratitude. Feel what it means to already be the one you dream of being. Hear the sounds that would surround you. Smell the air of that new life. Walk in that new body. Breathe in that new peace. Not tomorrow, now. Let that inner world become more real than what your senses tell you. Let that feeling flood your being like a river over dry land. And then let go. Not as one who doubts, but as one who trusts so deeply that you no longer need to check if it's working. You know it is, you feel it is, and that feeling, that quiet sacred feeling is your bridge. And so, beloved, the message is simple but eternal. You need not fight for your desires. You need not plead or prove or push. You need only relax into the sacred feeling that what you have imagined is already yours. That feeling, felt with conviction and rested in with peace, is the seed, the soil and the sun of your manifestation. It is the whole process in one gentle act. You do not have to wait for the world to give you permission. You have been chosen the moment you chose yourself. You have been called the moment you dared to feel it real. All of creation bends lovingly to those who walk in faith, not loud, not frantic, but still and knowing. So carry this with you. You are not becoming. You are not waiting. You are receiving. You are not hoping. You are living in the end. Let this knowing become your breath, your posture, your prayer. And as you go forward, speak less of what you lack, and more of what is done. Dwell not in delay, but in fulfillment. And the world as it must, will move in perfect rhythm with your assumption. For the outer is forever the echo of the inner. Relax, feel it, and watch. Everything you've ever imagined is already making its way to you. In truth, it was never far, it was never separate. It was always waiting for you to remember who you really are, and now, you do.